What's up, guys? Hopefully you can see me and hear me. We're live. We thought we would do a little impromptu stream today. We've been meeting to jump on and talk about the Foodtopian project, what it does, how you can make money at it, how it supports drip. I know a lot of our viewers and subscribers that are on our channels come from the drip side, and so they like to hear about projects that can also benefit drip. So we figured we'd jump on live and discuss the details of the project. We just are barely officially launching this thing, but we've already got some good traction just from word of mouth and everybody wanting to jump in. So I've got a couple of guests, and I'm sorry to Unmade. I didn't have a picture of him to throw on the thumbnail, but Lee will jump on here in a second. I've got Unmade on, so let me bring him on, and then we'll just chop away at this thing.
You all right, bud?
Yep. What's up, my man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining last second. I know it's kind of late there.
No worries.
Well, how's things going in your world?
Good, man. I fell off a roof yesterday, so that sucked. But apart from that,
what were you doing on the roof?
So I was putting my partner runs a business from home, so we're putting a new studio up for in the garden. And I was just putting stuff out on the roof and slipped and fell and hit a ladder and destroyed my arm, but I'm all right.
Nice. I bet that felt good.
It did feel good.
Just got to drink a little bit of booze to soften the blow.
Exactly.
Let me ping my man Lee real quick. He's always late to the party.
I know. You might be in bed.
You might be. Cool. Well, before he jumps on, for those who don't know, let me see if I can actually share my screen and we can start talking about the Foodtopian project. Present. There we go. Here it is, and here's the late arrival. Man, how are you?
All right, man.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was here listening, and I hadn't disabled the preview on my camera, so you can't use it twice. So I had to just disable it and start again. But I'm here. How you doing, boys?
Nice. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for agreeing to do the last minute stream, last minute update on this. I know we've been meaning to talk about this for the last couple of weeks, but we've been busy in the trenches. So I thought today might be a good day just to break down the details of the project to everybody so they can understand what the heck we're working on and how it might benefit them.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been one of them the last couple of weeks. Not busy, but super busy. It's just the time has just just gone. It's weird, but we're here and we're working hard.
Definitely. For those, it looks like we got a few people that have joined. I know this is last second, so we'll see how many people we get, but we got a good group in here already. If you guys wouldn't mind smashing the like button so this gets out there, and then comment in the chat if you'd like. You guys can ask questions or whatever you want to do. I think the best thing to do would probably be just discuss the project a little bit, what the plan is around it, how you guys can get involved. So I'll let one of these guys discuss the details of the basics of the project and just kind of what our thought process was behind it. This is something that came about like a year ago. Lee was talking about it because he's a big foodie and can't stop talking about food all the time on camera. So that's where the idea really stemmed from. And then, we had planned to do something like this, but it just doesn't seem like there was the right time. Lee was still dealing with his business stuff. I had some other stuff going on. Finally, we just collaborated and pulled the team together and decided to get it done. So Lee or Unmade, which one of you guys feels like you want to dig into the overall project overview?
I mean, I can touch on the obviously the inception of it, which you've covered super well in a summary there. But yeah, so long story short, Foodtopian it started out as a joke, probably April, May last year. I was searching through all the posts on Telegram, and I found the original one. So long story short, I've been involved in food since obviously we've all ate food since we've been small, but I've took a keen interest in certain areas of food and the way that it ties into business. I've always had a great affinity for. Originally, no lie, it was the profit margins. I've looked at many businesses in the past. I almost bought a fleet of sandwich vans, which for the US people and people not so much in the UK, in the rest of the world, on the industrial estates where you've got multiple businesses, you'd usually have a little. They used to call them jiffy vans, which was an aluminium sided tiny little truck. They'd open up the side and the workers would just run on and get the little slices of pizza, the sandwiches, the drinks, the soda pops and all that stuff. You know, we've all got variations of it, but I was amazed by it. So I almost bought a dying business because basically the director was so old he couldn't run the fleet. So I then started looking into other businesses. I worked in a couple. I helped my friends out who had got food businesses, and the passion sort of was like, I was cleaning his van for him when he used to come to the car dealerships, but I wanted to be in the van more than I did in the detailing bay. So I started looking at viable businesses and pubs and restaurants. Now I tried to steer away from the restaurant style business purely because of the exposure to risk when it comes to, you know, you're fixed with your menu and your plates and you've got to get 30, 50 covers a night, whereas the takeaway market has been booming since 2020 when we had the issue with the pandemic. And we've found ways to evolve and use the delivery services such as Uber Eats, Just Eat, Deliveroo, and the others that are all around the world. And if you looked at a chart of the takeaway industry, it sort of went like this. And then since the pandemic in March 2020, it's gone up and above. And that just piqued my interest even more. I like cooking, I like entertaining, I like the aspect of everything that goes with it. So I decided last year that I might do something, but with crypto and the way it works and not having people around me here that wanted to sort of deal with crypto and a real business. I've tried in other businesses and they're just not interested. So to have people that were like, yeah, let's have a look at it. Ran the numbers worked. And obviously we're very, very early in the way we've built it, but as obviously Unmade Sugar will discuss a bit further on regarding the tech. When I ran the numbers of the businesses and some of which we'll talk about the locations shortly, it was one of the epiphanies where I thought, you know what, the numbers work. I've used all of the risk, the worst case scenario. If we had something else happen, you know, that might affect the incoming business and even still the profits that it returns with my knowledge and my business now. I've got people, you know, people know we talk about pizza. There's already 2 ex-Domino managers. One of them's an ex-area manager that wants to utilize his crypto journey in the real world. So he's like bang up for it. He's even said I'll work free for a month because he's that interested in, you know, what we'll come on to, the drip side, the faucet side, the yield side, the farming side. It's kind of created a mini buzz, and I'm really excited to talk more about it. So I did want to cut that short, but I've rambled, so my apologies. But that's the journey. I can't hear you, Scott.
I can't hear you, Scott.
Sorry, guys. I'm rattling off here on mute. I don't know how I got on mute. My bad. Anyway, I was just saying I'm long-winded. I sit down to make like 5-minute videos and they end up 15 or 20. I just can't help myself but ramble on about stuff. So I get it. You're good. Well, it's good that that's where the inception came from. Obviously, each of us are kind of attacking this in our own way, in our own area of expertise. Unmade's doing all the technical side. Lee, you're doing a lot of the recipeing and finding the location, all that type of stuff. I've been working more on the marketing, so it's good to come together to be able to bring something to fruition. Let's see, what's the best way to knock this out? I wonder if it might be the best to bring up just like the white paper and just cruise over that real quick.
Yeah.
All right, let me find it.
Because then I can add the bits. Because obviously I'm super interested in operations. I've always been good at logistics and operations, not so good on obviously, you know, the marketing, the tech, and the admin side, which is why the collaborations just it really does show that's how a real business has to function. I'm never ever going to be marketing or good with paperwork. It's a fact. I'll have to send receipts so someone else can upload them. Operations is my thing. So I think just it already shows you that that's how we start to get the, you know, bridge the gap between crypto and real life stuff. Sorry, my bad.
Exactly. Got to do it. Let me see here. Yeah, if you don't work in an area that's your expertise, then you're just spinning your wheels and being not so efficient.
Yeah.
Where is I don't know if I have the.
If you go on the website, it's you can click off it from there.
Yeah, because we were going to take that off and update it, but we're just going to update it with the new NFT.
Yeah.
All right. I've actually got it right here. Took me a second to find it. Let's back this out to where you can actually see it. Bingo. And I got to share a different screen.
That's a big wine glass, Lee.
It's massive. It's a point and a half.
No.
Well, it's funny because I found a massive bottle of really expensive champagne in the back of the cupboard, and I'd got no beer, so I thought, let's get the massive wine glass out. Celebrate.
Might as well. All right, here's the white paper. Pretty sure this is the most recent one, but we'll break down the details of the project. Basically, what I would say is we're going to utilize crypto in a way that utilizes real world businesses. In this case, starting with a single restaurant and then moving on to more restaurants. So the idea is that you can invest, and your income that comes from the amount that you purchase, whatever your seed round investment is, in this case is in the form of NFTs, that's paid for by the profits from the restaurant. So as we've talked about a million different times, the problem with a lot of these ROI dApps or any of these investments online is they get launched and then the developers are too late to bring utility, which brings more eyes on it, and then they end up losing traction and they end up spinning out and end up dying off. So in this case, what we're doing is we're nipping that in the bud and going directly to attach it directly to utility. That's how the investors are paid out by the actual restaurant running. So the concept in itself is very easy, and it's really not unlike you would invest in pretty much anything else in the real world. If you were to put money into a real estate fund or a hedge fund or anything like that, they're going to utilize that money for the real world business, and then they're going to pay you a percentage of the profits. That's normally a set percentage for the year. And then, if you ever want to take your money out, you've got to give them 6 months notice or a year notice or whatever it is. So very similar to what's happening in the normal investment world. In this case, we can just utilize NFTs to fill that void and bring people together and have a marketplace and all that. So that's the general concept behind the project. We have a restaurant. The restaurant will be churning out profits. People who decided to invest in the NFTs to help the restaurant out during the seed round, they are going to get paid out a percentage. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah.
Covering that clearly enough.
Exactly that.
Awesome. So our mission, of course, the most important takeaway, pun intended, which is a pun of a pun. And I'd say the takeaway for the U.S. folks, that's a takeout restaurant or whatever. Takeaways in the UK is how they say it. But here's really kind of the mission behind it, right? There's a lot of risky protocols out there. A lot of folks are hesitant to put their money into anything else. We've all dumped our money into a handful of projects. If you're watching this channel, undoubtedly we're in some of the same projects. Some go really well, some go poorly, and there's a lot of stuff that sits in the middle. But it's certainly a high-risk space because there's a lack of utility for a lot of these projects early on. So what this does is this tries to correct that. The concept, it was really created to help people invest the crypto into protocols that can offer them a return, but limit the risk a little bit more. And that all comes from the utility, all comes from having an actual business on the other side of it. The issue with investing in the normal world is you really, to be really successful in investing in the traditional markets, you need to have a good amount of capital, right? You're not getting in for 0.1 B&B for any investment anywhere, right? So a lot of times, certain investments, they've got entry level tiers you got to hit, or you have to be an accredited investor, which I think right now is $300,000 a year for at least the last 2 years, or maybe 2 million or something like that in total net worth, provable net worth, something right in there. So that eliminates the access for most people to investments like this. You want to invest in a chain of restaurants. If you don't have, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're probably not going to be able to access that investment. So in this case, it gives more people access. What it also does is when you get into those, you need to expect a fairly low rate of return. It's just how the normal traditional markets work. There's no, there's very few investments that aren't extremely high risk that will pay you more than 15% a year in the traditional markets, unless you're really actively in them, like real estate or certain things like that. We're actually very involved in the day-to-day workings of whatever the investment is. So in this case, what we're offering is a considerably higher percentage, not degen rates like we'd see in a lot of these protocols we're in, but rates that are still substantially higher than what we find in the traditional market. So that was the idea. Figure out how to tie crypto back into a real world restaurant, pay rates that are substantially higher than you'd see out in the normal world, but still sustainable for us. So we can continue to build the businesses and make it bigger and bigger and offer more opportunities to the investors. So, the bullet point that I have here, if you want to make high yields in this space, you need to utilize platforms that have actual real world utility. And I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. If these protocols that get launched, no matter what business it is, sometimes they can go for a while. They can go 3 months, 6 months, a year, but eventually that utility has to come. Even with startup companies or projects that go in debt, $10 or $20 million, they're spinning their wheels a lot of the time, operating in the negative for a certain period of time. Eventually, they have to bring those new products to market or whatever it is to get out in front of it and create that utility. So it happens in normal business, and it's the same scenario over in DeFi. So here's what we're doing. We're starting up a restaurant. Let me finish this slide, and I'll let Lee talk a little bit about the actual brick and mortar restaurant, kind of what we're looking at. But we are starting a restaurant. In order to do that, we need a seed round of capital, right? So in exchange for the capital that's incoming from investors, we're going to pay out a percentage. And as you can see here, that comes across as NFTs. You're basically investing in a seed round, helping us fund the project. We're, of course, putting some of our own money in and a lot of our own time, but we're also raising some money as well. And this is going to pay for all the things we need, including the lease of the space and ingredients and all that stuff, a little bit buffer to get us going. We've got delivery drivers. There's a lot of things that go into this that, of course, we need to cover. So you've got a 0.1 B&B, which will give you 1% weekly return up to 250%. 0.5 B&B, 1.2% weekly. 1 B&B, 1.4. 50 or 5 B&B, 1.5. And then we've even got a large one. I think it's 20 B&B. And what does that pay out? Is it 1.6?
1.7 on the mail bill.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1.7 on that one for the big ballers who want to invest a larger amount and then get it back. So that's up to 250%. But I'll let you guys tell me what I didn't cover on that first slide, and then I'll let Lee kind of describe what we're thinking as far as the restaurant and some of the details.
Yeah, so firstly, what I'll probably do is I'll talk about the first location, because there's a question from Video Synopsis channel. Thanks for being here, buddy. I'd like to know about the brick and mortar pieces. It's a lot to set up and run a successful storefront. That's a valid point. What's the plans to actually make it successful? I believe in you guys, but want to know the details. So that's a perfect question that segues straight into what Scott was just saying. So the unique part about location one, which literally 4 hours ago, I have been in touch with the retail agent, the estate agent, who is dealing with the owner of the property. And the reason we've gone for this one first is I've been visiting this property since December, and way before we even actually spoke about doing this. Myself and my wife have actually got some videos, which I will share on a video. I've just got to edit some of the, the info out. So basically, the first location is unique because it's not a business for sale. It's a property for lease or rent. Now, within that property, it comes with a 40 grand pizza oven, conveyor, which are on back order anyway. You can't get them till December. It's got one fitted or hooked up to the fresh gas line that's all set up. It's got a £20,000 or $24,000 extraction system, a full walk-in fridge, freezers, the toppings fridge, the refrigerated unit where you pick your toppings and put on the pizzas, a full grill for your burgers and your sides, triple fryers, all of the silver stuff that you see in a commercial kitchen is actually in that place right now. So setup costs for that place, don't take these numbers as act to the penny, but give or take, we need signage, marketing materials such as menus and different bits and bobs. There's a full POS system already installed. So signage, promotional materials, and some, obviously we need the ingredients, that's a standard, but it's also got a commercial dough mixer. It's got a commercial pizza rolling machine. All we need to buy is a few pots and pans and some marketing material with a sign at the front. So in terms of the startup cost for that place, outside of the deposit that we need to put down up to a certain amount of months up front, which I'm negotiating seriously hard, that's what she said. We're trying to work a deal out as it stands today, and I've spoke to the lads about it. Literally, was it 4 hours, 3 hours? No, 4 hours ago.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago, was it?
So in terms of the first location, it's kind of fell into our laps where instead of being a 20 to 30 grand startup, which is some of the other properties we're looking at, this one is less than 10,000. So the risk versus reward on location one, which was already an established pizza shop, and the only reason it closed was because of the owner retiring. And what I've said to the lads when we were talking about the conceiving the idea was a lot of the takeaway owners are of a Greek nationality, a Turkish nationality, Indian nationality, or Pakistan. So these people, an Italian, obviously for the pizza. This chap here was a Greek with Italian parents. He had no children to pass the business on, so it was either disappear and retire or sell the business. He tried to sell the business, and it was expensive, very expensive. I remember it being expensive. So he just decided to take his profits and give it to the landlord and say, here you go, that you can pay an extra £200 a month, because we basically the rent would be, let's say, £900 a month. With the equipment, it's £1,100 a month. So we're lease hiring the equipment for £200 a month. But to lease hire those from a reputable supplier would be about £1,600 a month, so $2,000 a month. We're getting it for less than $250. So that store is super important. If we didn't manage to get that, which real estate deals do fail, but it's looking good at the moment. We've got 4, maybe even 5 locations that I've already hand-picked and spoke to the gents about. So in terms of your question, setup-wise, we're very, very lucky to have come across this particular place. And the funny thing about this is this was the first pizza place, pizzeria, takeaway, takeout, that my wife, when I very first met her, said, you've got to come here and try these pizzas. They're the best. So I did. And then when I saw it for sale, I was like, well, I've got to buy that. But now it just so happens that it ain't going to cost us $250,000. It's going to cost us marketing and promotion to set up. So there's a story behind it. There's a family tradition behind it. And there's also a real estate deal happening at the moment, which we'll keep you updated on. So yeah, sorry for rambling again, but it's important.
You're good. I like the origin story. It's good that it comes from somewhere. It's a little more meaningful, but
yeah,
I think to sum it all up, this one's an ideal scenario because of the equipment that's already there, the location. I know you've been working hard to dial in the recipes to make everything perfect, and I know you've said before that there's certain pockets in the area where you live that are just lacking in high quality delivery takeout. So this would kind of fill a void there as well.
Yeah, and the other point with this one, which didn't exist when the business was in operation before, there's a residential housing estate just being developed. Literally, you could throw a pizza dough ball at it and still hit a window. It's literally going to be, I think it's 5,000 to 9,000 new houses that are being built within a mile of the delivery area that we'd like to keep. Now, that wasn't actually part of the original business plan because it wasn't built. We didn't know how many houses were going to be there. And it's a village, which I know people who get the misconception of a village being, you know, a church and 4 houses. It's not. The wider area has got something like 100,000 homes and 900 businesses in the catchment area. And it's in between a place called Wolverhampton. As everyone knows, I'm a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, which is the football situation. And then you've got Stafford, which is where I live, which is to the north. Now, the most important part, and what got me goosebumps about it, I've actually spoken to a few of the football club forums where, you know, anyone not familiar, we're in the Midlands. Everyone from the north travels to the south, south to the north, every Saturday, every Wednesday, every Sunday, every Thursday. And we're on an arterial route that takes you to the Wolverhampton Wanderers football ground. And the estimate is that there's an extra 600,000 people that pass that pizza shop that have never been tapped into. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get every single one, but we've had a good response from the football club forums. You know, we've spoke to Leeds and Newcastle and all these people who are in the north that pass through. We're going to give them a percentage off as an away day because they're coming to our stadium, the home stadium, away day deals, and it's been responsive. So we're starting to think about the marketing angle, but where it actually is a really very busy place, and it's lost its pizza place. The only food outlet there that stays open past 5 p.m. is a fish and chip shop. That's it. That's the only choice for all of those people since the pizza shop closed and the bloke retired. So it's awesome, man. Such a lucky place.
Yeah, it's a great setup, and I think we've talked about a bunch of other key marketing opportunities that I think will do well as far as a reward system and a good handful of things. So I won't dig into the marketing too much, but just know we've got a pretty good game plan that we can execute on that to drive customers and drive return customers and set people up also to be fans of the Foodtopian brand, if you will, so that if we continue to open other locations, even specializing in different types of food or different genres, that we can be successful there and cross-pollinate and bring our customers into there as well. So should be pretty exciting. Obviously, don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we'll start with restaurant number 1. Make sure we've got that system nailed, and then continue to scale it on additional restaurants in the UK, which of course will give me an excuse to come over there for business reasons and hang out in the pub and have meetings. So that's the plan. Unmade, you want to crack out any of the technical details of how you set it up to make it most efficient for the investor?
Yeah. So as it stands at the moment, because obviously we're in the seed round to raise. If you buy an NFT right now, obviously it's going towards getting business one set up, but everybody that buys an NFT in the seed round, because each NFT has got its own individual token ID, so we will know exactly the people that helped with the seed round. So there will be incentives for people who helped in the seed round when we go live and we start making profit that people won't get, obviously, when we're running, just for helping us out at the beginning. At the moment, there's a website, but the website, hopefully within this week, is going to be transferred over to a web app, which I'm developing at the moment, so that people will be able to buy the NFTs directly off the web app, get all the information off the web app. If we end up getting location 1, Lee will be able to post videos. But then a lot of you don't, if you don't know, I literally live about an hour from Lee. So I'm going to be able to go down, get some videos, get some footage, get some stuff, and then bring it up.
Down, I think.
Yeah, never I think I'm going to do some serving. But so that's all going to be put on this web app. The plan is I'm just waiting for bit technical, but I'm waiting for an API link at the moment. Once I get that, people can manage their NFTs they've got on the web app, and it's the website, and it's all linked together. The lottery that we're going to do is going to be on the web app. The staking is going to be on the web app. So it'll all be in one place. And then going forward, what we're talking about, loyalty and stuff, there's going to be like a Foodtopian kind of loyalty coin, which is it's going to be crypto based, but also not crypto based. So they'll be able to gain loyalty points when they like buy food. And if they're in the crypto world, it'll generate as a crypto coin that will have, we're not sure yet, some kind of value to it. We got to try and work out the numbers. But if they're not in the crypto game, it will still show up in their app as like a loyalty coin. And then we can set the same value to that so they can spend it, on like stuff in the store. So there's a lot coming that'll mean getting in early. Your likelihood is if you get in early, there's going to be loyalty bonuses. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Even if you're based at the other side of the world, there's definitely going to be stuff that you can tap into, even without having to be able to physically come to the actual venues to make it worth you getting involved.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
That's important, isn't it? Like trying to fix the redeemable value of a token that's going to benefit not only the people that walk into store, but also that are investors or want to get involved from around the globe. So that's really smart.
Yeah, I think it's important to note too that even though I'm on the outside since I'm across the pond, I'm a stickler for the aesthetics. Luckily, both these guys are too. Lee, as it relates to food, and Unmade as it relates to the photography and everything. So that's one of the marketing aspects that we'll have nailed down better than the competing businesses in our area. Is when we create these works of art that we're going to serve to people, we'll be able to get really good pictures of that on the website, on the app, all that type of stuff. So when these folks are ordering, that it just looks better. And I know for me, when I look at a menu, half the time, probably more than that, probably like 80% of the time, I order something that has a photo that looks good, right? What looks the best. When you pull up and you've got a menu at a drive-through or something like that, you generally are going to order something that piques your interest just from the looks of it. So we're going to try to capitalize from that marketing angle by creating really good looking food with an aesthetic vibe to it, and then also capturing those photos to where when we're trying to market the material, it just entices people to go into our restaurants.
Yeah, an additional fact to the media angle, which obviously Unmade is a very, very, very good photographer and editor, not just on the tech side for crypto, but also in the photography side of things. But also we're going to be doing I don't know if anyone else likes watching them, but when they pop up on TikTok or Shorts, and there's a live stream of someone with a burger flipper, and he's literally just cooking food, POV, point of view. I sit there watching it and thinking, what am I doing? But we're going to take it to a different level and do like a Lee, Scott, and Unmade stream from inside the store, so people can see that where their money lies. They're going to see the orders coming in. They're going to see the tickets being made. They're going to see all of the food being made from the phone call or the website order. We put the ticket on, and we're going to do the live streams from the locations, not just to show transparency, but because it's also, we're live streaming a crypto project, which is mixed with food, directly from the location that we told you today that we're looking at getting, and then location 2 and location 3. So it's important for us to remain engaged so people can see exactly what we're doing. And for those that, who are thinking, what's this got to do with drip? You're going to see that in a second. I just want to keep your attention that the most important thing is to make profit. The second most important thing is to ensure that crypto and the profit, I've got a synergy, isn't it? That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to pop this question up. What's the plan when you inevitably get pushback from the consumers about the crypto aspect? AKA, have you thought about how not to scare people off of the crypto? I would say I'll let Lee answer this one because he's thought about it more than I have. But the crypto aspect is just one portion of it. People aren't required to pay with crypto. They can come in and purchase, but there's just a crypto element to it that we're going to utilize to leverage it. Lee, I'll let you expand on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, another great question. It's the in real life business that you're going to be seeing. The POS system is going to be Visa and debit cards, because we're not under the illusion that everyone's going to come in and want to pay with Bitcoin or open a drip account. That's, we're not going down that route. What we're going down the route of is it's a normal working UK business that applies itself to all of the local laws, the bylaws, and the food hygiene and safety standards, which we're going to get a 5 out of 5. Because I'm actually doing my course in the next 2 days. I've got it booked where you have to do learning the temperatures of food and stuff like that. So everything in the business itself is just normal. It's just run of the mill, exactly the same as any other business in the UK, the US, or Europe, or Australia, and Asia. However, we are also going to offer the option, if we can get the POS sorted straight away, which we will be able to do, the option of not only paying with crypto, but obviously we're going to come on to the onboarding side of things when it comes to the faucet accounts. So I don't want to cover that yet, because that's its own segment. But in terms of walking in, if someone on a Saturday night while I'm there at midnight comes in for a margarita pizza and he's got £12 in cash in his pocket with his beer in his hand, he can just pass us that 12 quid. It goes into the register like everything else would. It gets banked. And by the way, there's going to be transparency with the receipts, which Unmade's going to talk about in a little bit regarding how we show what we can show versus GDPR, which I don't know if you've got that over there, but it's basically, freedom of information and protection of data. We've got to be sensitive to that, but we will show anything we can show you. If I spend 200 quid on cheese and tomatoes, it's going to be, you're going to see basically, we're going to show you our kind of accounts, management accounts, because we want to be as open and honest as the law allows us to be in regards to data. But yeah, absolutely, you can walk in, give us cash, pay by card, and or crypto. There's no difference. It's a fully functional business.
Yeah, and I would say it's just it'll be an introduction to crypto. So, we may have some marketing materials on the wall for drip or something else, but so people start asking questions, we can steer them in the direction of maybe utilizing crypto, get into that conversation.
Well, yeah, we can even go.
Oh, go ahead.
Good. Yeah, like with the loyalty app, for example, like if they scan their card and they're not in crypto, obviously the points will go on their loyalty card, but on the app will be a live chart of the crypto version of that coin, showing how that's doing for value, and there'll be ways to onboard. So they'll see, they'll be like, okay, so I've got $10 in loyalty points sitting on here, but the crypto coin that's that I can convert these loyalty points into is currently sitting at $12-13. So there'll be videos, there'll be ways that they can be like, okay, so if I set up a crypto wallet, all of a sudden my $10 in loyalty points here becomes $13-14 just by setting up a crypto wallet. And then obviously they then hopefully go down the rabbit hole, and once they get a wallet set up and start seeing what they can do.
Oh, so you've got like $10 worth of loyalty points to take off your next order. I'm using dollars because it's what we all know. But there's also a little thing that says, well, you've got $12 in Foodtopian coin, or
in the Foodtopian coin, those loyalty points would be worth a little bit. Yeah, will be worth more to get that extra bit. So say they're about to go and get a pizza, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a few dollars short." Oh, but if I set up a MetaMask wallet and use those loyalty points in crypto in the POS when I get there, I'm gonna be able to get that entire pizza for free instead of having to pay that extra couple of quid. They've then got a MetaMask wallet set up, and then it's the fun of the rabbit hole like we all ended up going down.
Yeah, it's just a gateway into crypto, convert a few more people over. And some people are already in crypto, but obviously there's very few places that are taking crypto as payments. So there are some point of sale systems that are starting to do that. We're researching those, so hopefully at some point we can integrate that where just there's a sign that says want to pay with crypto, get 5% off or whatever. People will be like, oh yeah, I have a MetaMask wallet or whatever. You guys actually take B&B? That's crazy. I've never heard of a restaurant doing that. what else do you guys do? So just it opens up the conversation. So really it's just a slice of it, but it's the gateway into talking about crypto and how it aligns with restaurants. So it's not required by any means, but I think people will start to understand it both with a loyalty program and maybe just taking standard payments and all that. So it'll be great to integrate.
Yeah, and obviously we're gonna come on to the drip integration because that is an important part. And just touching on the way the loyalty system works, I'm not sure how we would integrate that part with drip, but there would be a way of doing it because obviously we hold wallets that we could, move money around and whatever. I don't know about the tech, so I'm not going to go there. But part of the marketing material on every menu is going to be a QR code that sends that person who is, intrigued by the crypto aspect when they leave the shop, because obviously I'm going to be there selling the crypto narrative all the time. Just as you have conversations, they've got 9 minutes to wait for a pizza while they're in the shop, so there's going to be a natural conversation with all of this footfall, because I'm seeing it as, we're looking to get in the first 6 months up to 500 people per week that knock that door and walk in, based on previous sales figures that tell us that's the footfall. Well, the QR code is going to send that person to a tutorial video on the Foodtopian YouTube channel, which is probably going to involve us, editing a proper video saying, thanks for checking out the QR code. This is the system that we're going to offer, which is the drip side of things, which we're going to come on to at the very end, just to show people what we're talking about.
So we got another quick question. We'll shift gears real quick because it's actually up on the screen. This one came in from Pete. Are the returns capped? So the returns for the NFTs are capped. As you can see, depending on which one you purchase, you'll get a higher percentage. Of course, the more you invest, which means you get paid back faster, and that's up to 250%. So, as an example, if you put in $1,000, you get 2,500 back, which is considerably better than pretty much every other investment out there, particularly in the traditional markets. And then considering that this is based on a real world utility, a real world restaurant, that's pretty solid. So yes, the initial returns are capped. Now we are going to do more for all the early investors. We've got some ideas of what to do with drip. Some different giveaways, like he mentioned. There's a lottery aspect to this, so there's other ways to earn, set up faucets. There's more to it, and of course, if we're more successful, we're going to do a better job of giving back to the community that helped us get this thing launched. So the returns on the NFTs are capped. You got to, basically, the way we have it set up, you need to do that. It couldn't roll into perpetuity. You never know what's going to happen way down the line. If we're selling off restaurants, buying new ones, whatever, it gets a little complicated in that manner. So for these initial seed round of investments, it's up to 250% of whatever initial investment is, which is pretty solid. If you were to tell most people, hey, get 250% return, almost automatic, they'd say that's not even realistic. But for us, and the way we've set up the margins and the way we've structured the payouts, in a way that it's 1% per week up to 1.7% per week, that's something that we can attain. We couldn't, of course, survive by paying everyone 1.7% per day because it takes too much money out of the actual restaurant business. So yeah, the returns are capped, and there's a reason for it. These aren't degen rates, unfortunately, but you can't have sustainability and degen rates at the same time, really.
Yeah, and just remember also the lottery wins and the airdrops from the faucet, which I've already done 28 drip airdrops to 2 holders. So if they were fry holders, they've already received technically 50% of their investment back in drip, which is what we're going to be doing. We've got Unmade's going to talk about the team faucet, but also if you're a holder, whether you're a fries holder or a hot dog holder, 0.1 BNB up to 5. And up to 20 with the meal deal, you're all entered into the lottery. We're still working out the fairness of the lottery, so it ensures that there's no unfairness to people who've put more money into less money, because the lottery should be fair. So we're working on that. But for instance, if you win one of the lottos, whatever the number is, you're probably going to ROI that day. And there's no cap on lottery. So yes, like Scott said perfectly, it has to be capped at some point, because this is sustainable based on real world profit and loss. So we have to be careful, but we also have to be generous. And finding that balance is the most important thing, which is why it took us ages and ages to deal with the numbers, because we were like, what about this? What about that scenario? What about the other? So, yeah.
Video Synopsis has another one here. Who are your competitors? Obviously, none in your area, but is there anyone else doing this type of concept?
No.
I've heard of people doing stuff around, with pay with crypto, but to my knowledge, there's nobody doing something set up quite like this.
No. I mean, worldwide, I haven't researched that far, because we're not worldwide. We're not global. In the UK, there is no one doing this.
Yeah. There's somebody somewhere that's accepting Hex for their services, but I don't know, nothing I've seen has shown kind of a structure like this. And I think you're going to see more stuff like this in the future, in that maybe not the restaurant business or whatever, but like I said, how I related this to like investment funds. If I want to go invest in a real estate investment fund, I got to be an accredited investor. I get in touch with them. I put in my $200,000, $300,000, whatever their minimum is. And then I just get a small portion of return. I manage that relationship. If I want my initial back, I got to let them know 6 months or a year in advance, and then they can give it back to me. This is a way for the everyday person to come in and be able to invest in our fund, which is utilizing the NFT version as a medium. So you can jump on and you can put in your 5 BNB or 20 BNB, and you can get your 250% return, and you don't have all that red tape you have to go through. So it's definitely different than what's out there. But I'll tell you that in the next 5 years, I would be surprised if a lot of these hedge funds or real estate funds or any of that aren't in some sort of tokenized setup or NFT to signify your ownership. So I think this will blend into something that evolves in the future. But this is the first I've seen in the way that we're kind of doing this. So it's kind of innovative.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Got a lot of questions rolling through in the chat. Trying to make sure I hit them all. Video Synopsis has like 15 questions in here, so
he's bullish. Loves it.
Let's see. Daniel Pearson says, there a way to a clear photo of the graphic? Yeah, we can share. We can also actually share this whole white paper with you, and we'll go to the website here in a second. I can try to blow it up a little bit, but we've kind of been reading through it. He said that he arrived late. Basically, what we covered is that we're utilizing restaurants for this project. Here are the different NFTs that you can purchase for the seed round and their percentage payouts. And those are all up to 250% of your initial investment. Let's do, I guess, let me read through the claiming and fees part. So when you claim your weekly dividends, you will be charged a 3% claim fee, which will be used as follows. And this is as low as we could make the fee and still make everything else work. 1% of the fees will be allocated to buy drip and open a faucet account to airdrop the lucky draw winners. So we're going to utilize a portion of that, dev fee, if you will, to be used directly to build up a faucet account and airdrop these lottery winners, if you will, and to use for promotional funds for marketing, depending on the price where it's at. We're gonna tweak that to be the most beneficial. Like it says here, take profits at highs, bolster the tax vault, airdrop to competition winners, airdrop to staff and team bonuses. That's not us. That's the staff that are actually working in these locations. We're going to try to get them to be drip maxis and really get into the crypto world. So, I guess injecting some drip into their account and getting them pumped about it, word will spread. It'll be a win-win for all of us. And then to sacrifice drip, obviously we've been doing a lot of, burning drip, if you will, but sending drip to the tax vault, that's also super important too. And the other 2% will be allocated for account and admin fees. Of course, it takes a lot to run a business, and so that's to cover that. What do you guys want to hit next?
The structure. The structure sounds good. Let them know it's
okay. Let's Lee, why don't you cover the structure?
Yeah, so basically, the most important part for the operational side is 70% of the funds will be used to purchase takeaways. That's takeout for stateside residents, stock signage, etc. So that's what we covered in the first portion of the stream. Is so 70% of the seed raise is going to be used to purchase the takeaways, the restaurant. I don't like, they're not restaurants, but takeaways, takeouts. So basically, that the bulk of those funds, and people might say, well, how much is a restaurant? Well, you've already seen from the scouting that we've done, the first one is super cheap, which is why we're almost already in a position to get location number one. So that part is super important, and that is what sustains the 250% of your ROI for the money that you've put in, plus the extra incentives that we're putting in. The 25, I'm trying to scroll there, it's your screen, 25% to the vault to pay out investors. Now, a portion of the money that is put in from everyone has to go into a vault, a safe, a place that's secure to start paying the investment back. Because obviously, when we do our management accounts on a restaurant, a takeout, it's going to take a month to do the banking, the consolidation, and to get the funds recycled to buy the ingredients, keep the place running, ensure that the location one is ready to move into month 2, and the profits, the net profits that's left, get put into the vault, converted into crypto, and then vaulted so that it continues to pay you out. So that is like a security blanket based on top of the profits. So, in short, this probably will never be used, but it has to be there to ensure sustainability. 2% of the value of the seed raise is going to be used in the pancake swap cake pools, earning yield that will be put into the vault to help build and maintain the rewards, which is the most important part, to ensure our investors are happy, feel safe, and get the rewards, which is what we're guaranteeing with all of the things we've put in place. And 3% of the total pot to lotto, lottery, raffle, bingo, whatever you want to call it, that's legal funding. We'll have to, just check on that. A pot is going to be created where once a week a lotto is going to be drawn, and anyone in the system who is an NFT holder will win that week's jackpot. If we don't have a winner, that amount will roll over to the following week. Just a normal standard rollover type system. So when it comes to the restaurant and takeaway purchases, obviously we need the bulk of the money to purchase them, because that's what starts the ball rolling. And what we're trying to do, and we've already achieved, and we're probably 75% of the way there with this current deal that's happening. And I can't wait to share the journey with it, because I'm talking to the real estate agent. Everyone knows what some of these people are like. They're going for the best deal for the client. I'm going for the best deal for the community and the gents in the stream. So we're kind of like two balls in a field at the moment, but I'm kind of the biggest ball right now. I think I've got the edge. So, it's nice to be transparent. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to get some information on that, and I'm more than happy to share it. But yeah, that's the basic structure of the allocation of the funds that are being used.
In real estate, it comes down to the leverage, right? If the space has been vacant for a little while, depending on what situation the landlord's in, you just got to find out where the leverage points are and then use them. You're not trying to rip them off by any means, but if they're going to sit there for a few more months with zero rent, if you were to extrapolate that out and just get a small discount on rent and get in right now, it would be more beneficial for them to just take the deal. And brokers are always going to try to get the highest price, because brokers are paid out normally on a percentage of what the total lease term is from the landlord. So they want the longest deal for the most money possible, because that pads their bank account. So as a deal negotiator, you kind of got to play hardball, because you're really sort of against the broker and then also the landlord. So is what it is.
Well, the good thing is I offered him this similar deal 8 weeks ago, and he sent me an email back. No.
But it's been 8 weeks. Yeah.
Now he's coming back.
That's 2 months where they've made no money.
Exactly. So I've told him the figures and said, look, you've lost 2,600 already. This is my offer. Come back to me. And now he's like, hi Lee, thanks for the offer. Let me go back to the client. So that's where I'm getting my confidence from. But it doesn't matter if he counters, because we've got the counter plan already waiting. So it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying that part of it. It's the good part.
So can I just jump in on the allocation? Yeah. Right. So the 25% in the vault, once it's put in the vault, it's as a vault is, it's locked up. None of us can touch it. The only way for that money to leave the vault is by people staking NFTs and claiming their weekly percentage. There's no other way to get out the contract. So once it's in there, once you see a balance, once the balance is in there, only NFT holders can pull that balance out. The lottery funding, why it says it's going to roll over, the way I've got to code it is so that it includes every single NFT. So if that happens, it picks an NFT from someone who had by an unminted NFT. That's what it means by it'll roll over, because it's the only way to make it completely random and fair. Or otherwise, I'm going to have to every week go in, work out how many people are holding, put in those numbers. And obviously going forward, this is going to be going on for years, hopefully. So I don't want to once a week for the next, God knows how many years, have to go in and do that. So it'll literally incorporate every single NFT. So the rollover aspect is, but the way it'll code, if an NFT comes up and it's not one, the following week, the next lotto balance will be added. And because the previous balance is still there, that's how the rollover will work. And that will just continue until it hits a winning number. So just going to this now while we're here, there's one wallet address for everything. There's one wallet address that runs the drip account, the drip faucet. There's one wallet address that's going to run the tax vault. And there's one wallet address that will do the lottery funding. So the tax vault's going to be in BNB. Obviously, drip's going to be in drip. And the lottery fund is going to be in BUSD. The reason we've done this is so it can all be on one wallet for transparency. Because if I had to do it in BNB for the lottery fund, it would have to be another wallet. Because obviously all the BNB is locked up in the contract. So it means it's one wallet. So anyone can track that one wallet, see what that one wallet's doing. Any money that Lee needs to take out for stock, anything like that, wages, anything it needs, will go directly out that wallet. So you'll be able to check and keep an eye on that wallet, check everything that's going on that wallet, and know everything that's going on, which is a whole transparency thing that we're going for, to make sure everyone knows everything that's going on.
And for those of you who are asking, this is the site, and I'm pretty sure in the description of the video, it's there as the NFT link. You can click on that. I've been sharing it up on the screen here as well. It's the NFTtrade.com, nftrade.com, I guess. The collection is Foodtopian, of course, and it's going to show all those here. So right now, I think I've got it high to low. So it's showing the 20 BNB ones, 0.1, 0.5. So you can actually purchase them straight from here. So if you want to purchase it, you just click on one of the NFTs. You, of course, will have to connect your wallet, click buy now, approve it, and then you'll purchase it, and then that NFT will be sitting in your wallet.
Also, can I just point out on that, where it says it's owned by Unmade Sugar DeFi at the top, make sure you're buying it direct from my wallet. If you're buying from someone else and they've already staked it and then like unstaked it, you may be buying one that hasn't got its full 250%. There will be, when the dApp's live, a way to check that. But as you know, the best thing to do just to be safe is check that it's owned by Unmade Sugar DeFi, and then it's a fresh NFT that I've minted and put, because the way it works on NFT Raid, I mint them and it has been minted under a wallet address. So my wallet address is verified with NFT Raid. So as you can see there, like Scott sent out, I've literally just minted it. So it then instantly puts it under the verified page. So you're literally buying it off me. If you're buying it for the price that I put it up for, it'll just instantly go in your wallet. It's set up that if you put a buy now for the price that it's up for, it'll instantly be accepted. So that's the way we've had to work it out.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's a good point. So the secondary market on these, I don't think we'll have much of one unless people really need to get rid of them. But know that if you buy it on the secondary market, you don't know how long that's been staked, and so you're going to need to dig in and figure out what percentage is left. So yeah, if you go and say, hey, there's a 20 B&B one, and I'm going to be able to pick it up for 5 B&B, that's great. You're only going to get whatever's left. So if there's 1 month of rewards, you're not going to get your money back. So ideally, you buy it directly from us. There's obviously nothing really there's nothing on the secondary market yet because we're not to that point yet. But you would purchase your NFT here pretty soon. In the next about month, we're going to have the website up and the staking options and all that stuff. So this is the seed round. You can come in and get your benefit this way, and then in the next few weeks, you'll be able to actually stake that on the site and start earning your yield. Obviously, we got to get out in front of it so we can get this restaurant open and get it rolling. So we're hoping to hear some good news from the actual broker and everything over the next few days, and then we can really get this thing up started. And I'll say we're going to be super transparent about the entire process. We're shielding a little bit of stuff because we don't want competition to try to snag the restaurant and a few other things. We don't want to put ourselves in a worse position. So once we actually have it locked down, ink to paper, then we'll know, hey, we got it. We're good to go. We're going to show you the restaurant details. It's going to be some good content to be able to get this place fixed up and ready to go. Of course, content on making the food, the receipts from what exactly we're utilizing the money for. So for us, it'll be something that we can create a bunch of good content on and show you guys exactly what we're doing and where your money's coming from, and keep it all out in the open. There's nothing secretive here by any means. And also, we're going to be pretty open about our tactics and cool marketing stuff that we're trying or whatever. And I know some of you guys will have some pretty good ideas, so we'll let you guys share those. But that's the general idea. But really easy. Go to the website. Sorry, guys. Go to the website. Pick whichever one you want to purchase. They range from 0.1 all the way up to 20 B&B. So just depending on what you feel like snagging, whatever you can afford, that if you want to invest, and you buy it, and it'll sit in your wallet, and we'll have the ability to stake them here soon.
Yeah, and added to that, there's also the point of you don't just have to own one. If if there is a time limit on each NFT, the meal deal one, which is the 20 B&B one, does have some form of profit sharing angle. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me about profit sharing, and basically the way it is this: we are giving you the opportunity to earn up to 250% on a 0.1 B&B investment. You have zero exposure to the risk of what we're doing in real life because we've set it up in a way where we know that you can return on your investment. So for that perk, there has to be a downside. We can't just say it runs forever. So you get 250% of a $30 investment and then get, a percentage if we do well, because technically if we, for 6 months didn't turn a profit, would you like exposure to that risk? No. Would we like you to have exposure to that risk? No. We're thanking you for being a part of our journey and supporting us and, getting involved. So we're taking on the risk to ensure that you get the reward. However, it does have to be said that if you're putting in a certain amount of money, upwards of 6 to 7, even 8 grand, depending on what the price of B&B is, do you deserve some of the profit sharing aspects? It's not a case of do you deserve it? It's a case of that gives us the opportunity to buy more quicker. So our business plan, remember, this is in real life business. You have to remember the in real life business is a lot slower than crypto. So if we're planning and budgeting for 4 or 5 restaurants in year 1, which is what we are, give or take, I say give or take, with, bated breath. However, we're looking at 5 in year 1 as a target. If 5 investors put in 100 B&B that we weren't expecting as part of our roadmap, our management accounts, then our business plan is accelerated by 3 months. In traditional business, that doesn't happen unless you go fund me or do a crowdfunding in the traditional market. So these bigger investors deserve a little bit of the profit sharing aspect. How much, how small, I don't know. However, that would turbocharge our plan in real life to crypto levels. So we have to be able to respond to that in the profit sharing. So if you buy a 0.1 Fry's BNB, that is just as good to us as anyone that spends $5,000, because you are putting your faith and your money where your mouth is. However, we can't expose you to the reward without the risk. So we'd rather not do that, which is what I'm trying to get across. So I know there's been a few questions, but that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. If that makes any sense to you guys, please.
Yeah, I think that's typical with most investments is, I don't know. Some folks are saying, well, hey, if I put in $30, 0.1 BNB, how come I'm not a part owner of the restaurant? But unfortunately, that's not how it works. There's more to it. Obviously, you've got to work in the restaurant, put in the sweat equity, building everything up, all the day-to-day stuff, the marketing, the back-end coding, all that type of stuff. It takes a lot of manpower. And so that's a portion of it, right? And then like you said, investors, they have no exposure to the downside, right? If for some reason this goes negative on us and we got to front the bill to keep everything going for a while, we're exposed to the downside and we take that brunt. Whereas, the investors, they're going to get paid out automatically by the blockchain. So they're getting their investment, return on investment back no matter what. So that's the way you got to look at it. Hey, I'm putting in a certain amount. I'm going to get 250% of that back. That's a fantastic ROI. And these guys obviously care about the community. So the bigger investors and even some of the smaller ones through the lottery and everything are going to benefit on the back end from that. So we'll get something else. Yeah. Obviously, the more successful we make this, the more we can give back. I don't think any one of us in this group, I know none of us are greedy. We're not trying to get rich off anyone else's back. We feel like we can bring the community into our success that we're working on together so they can get paid out a little bit too and be involved and have fun. And, I like personally working with honest devs where, it's not going to get rugged or anything that's got a real world utility. I mean, it's hard to deny when we're going to be filming from a restaurant, whipping up pizza dough, that it's not the real deal. So I think it's an ideal scenario for us, an ideal scenario for the community. I saw one guy say that he likes, watching street food get made, watches videos on that type of stuff. I mean, I like those quick video clips that are a minute or so long that bust out a new recipe or whatever. I like that type of stuff too. So that's content I would consume. So it allows us to do stuff like that. So it's kind of coming full circle with a lot of our interests. And we're all really into DeFi. We like honest devs. Most of us like food. So we're kind of tying it all together. And I think it's going to be a recipe that's successful. No pun intended.
Yeah. And let's not forget the fact that I am physically going to be working in location one for upwards of 90 hours a week. That isn't going to be, I ain't going to be earning £50 an hour out of this. I'm going to be in there for 90 hours a week operationally for at least the first 3 months, because this is now the baby. This is our baby. So I have to be there. We've got staff lined up. Like I said, we've got people from Domino's who were area managers. We've got delivery drivers who used to, dock the pizza and roll the pizzas and cook them. But I have to be there, as does my wife. So as a family unit, we are looking after location one from the ground up. We're 5 miles away from this place, 7 miles at max, I think. And we have to put our hours in for pretty much zero return. Like that's the way it is. You're going to see us in that restaurant. Me particularly, because I like making content. I'm going to be, content creating. And then obviously Unmade Sugar is literally an hour and 20 minutes at worst down the road. We've met up a couple of times. We've discussed it in the pub and then reported back to Scott. And we've even seen things on menus. We're like, oh, we've got to do that in that restaurant. We've got to put that on the menu. So, he's going to be there, not as much because obviously he's got his own things to do, but he's going to be on the live streams. We're going to be talking to Scott. The main aim is to get Scott over here.
Yeah.
So he's coming down to the restaurant. Making a couple of pizzas with the boys, and we're going to have some fun with it. But the main thing about it is it's going to be fun. It's a journey. We've got the brotherhood However, the most important thing is the business. We feed the business feeds us, the business feeds you as people that want to get involved. So it's a magical thing, and I am biased, but we've got to get onto the little, the point you mentioned about drip. Each staff member is going to have a faucet account. They're not going to be forced to accept tips into that account. I want to make that clear. They can have it in cash, or they can have it in, more than likely, in salary, so it's tax efficient for them. But when you get house tips, where I get tips and stuff, that is going to be converted into drip and airdropped to their wallets, along with the customers that we're going to try and onboard, because there is it's not just a takeout, there is a little tiny eating area, which is going to be called, like, let's call it Crypto Lounge, where people who wait can sit down, have a drink, scan the QR codes, and that is going to be, like I said earlier, my little chance to discuss, oh, you're in crypto, by the way? No, what's that? Well, here's a QR code. The face-to-face, old school, door knocking marketing, which I'm quite good at. Not the new stuff, the old school stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. I get happy about it. I've done nothing but look at recipes and stuff like that. But I think the way that we've set this up, and it really does, for me as an older guy in business, traditional business, to be able to look at what's being created by the boys. I really do think that it's game changing. Pub equals office, JB.
It's been our office, isn't it, for the last few weeks?
That's awesome.
It's amazing. I just think it's awesome, and I want to thank everyone that's watching and the boys for all their hard work. I'm sitting here researching. I've probably gone through 150 pounds of flour. The Staffordshire's water is now depleted. The amount of dough I've made, testing and moving and stuff. But yeah, it's all worth it, because it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good, and you'll see it live.
I think the restaurant, of course, the idea, and you've run all the numbers, everything down to how many cents it takes to build this medium-sized pizza dough ball, all that stuff. So you've done all the work on that. But I think so the restaurant will work fine. That's not the main concern. But I think we can bring a lot of people over to crypto. Imagine if you were a young kid, you got a job in a pizza restaurant, whipping pizzas together, and someone was able to mentor you, I guess, into saying that, hey, you could take some of your tips in drip. Teaches you a little bit about crypto. You get into it, the drip price starts to increase. That person could be way better financially off than if they had gone and done anything else in the world. So there is an avenue where it's not like we're going to impact millions of people, but for the people we do impact, it could be pretty big for them. It could be life-changing money, just converting people slowly over to crypto and spreading the word. So I think it's important for the drip community. We'll add some additional headcount, but also just important for the people that are going to get involved, because it's going to give them some access to crypto in a time in the world where people need to start to understand crypto quickly, because we're watching banks go under. Central banks don't care about you. They're literally your enemy. And so, if you're on anything centralized, whether it's centralized exchanges or in the centralized banking system, they really control all of your money. You have nothing. So if you need to go and barter for anything, you're completely at their mercy. And if we ever roll into a CBDC or anything like that, where they're controlling all the tokens that you have now instead of the dollars or pounds or whatever you're using, all your freedom is going to go away. So learning about crypto right now over the next 6 months to a year could have life-changing effects down the road for everybody involved.
Yeah. And
100%.
One of the things what I was thinking about the other day is when I opened the pizza box, and I know I keep going back to pizza, but that's essentially what we're doing, is the QR, the little do you get the tables in America where the middle of the pizza, it's got like a little plastic table so it doesn't squash?
Yep.
Obviously, that is the most looked at part of a pizza when they open the box. They don't even look at the pizza. That's the first thing that people see. So I'm going to put a QR code sticker on every single one of the tables, and people who scan the QR code are going to get a 5% discount. And that is going to send them to our YouTube channel with the introductory video onto, who we are. And when they see it's a bigger, they might look at it as, oh my God, these guys are massive. Even though at this time we got one store. So I was thinking of all these different things and the metrics. And in the area that we service of these 100,000 residential customers and 900 business customers, it's said that 99.79% of those people have never heard of crypto. That's just based on a local survey. It doesn't, mean anything particularly. So my aim is to convert, 50 people in the first month. We can't guarantee these figures at all. But if we can convert 50 people into the faucet, then I know that we're on our way to chipping away at that part of the mission. The main part of the mission is to make profit for the investors. That's it. And the next phase is to ensure that we help not only our own bags, but like you said, Scott, what if someone who ventures in to buy a pizza on a Friday night is absolutely off his head on beers because it's midnight and slopping a pizza all down his t-shirt? The next day gets into DeFi and then checks in 3 months' time and his bag's 60x, it does whatever the number. Then you've got your staff members who are like, well, that tip that I made is now worth 36 instead of 10. Even just, you can't guarantee it, but there's an opportunity there for the people to do this kind of stuff. It's powerful.
Yeah. I think that's what crypto is in general for a lot of people. It's the gateway out of the rat race. So, even if we are only able to affect a few hundred people over the next year, that's still a few hundred people that will probably share that message. And even if they're just better off themselves, then I think in some small way we make the world a better place and get people more to sound money and financial freedom, which I think is awesome.
100%.
We got a few questions rolling through in the chat. I've got about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, before I got to take my kid to jujitsu. So that's my
important.
Time. He's tough, man. He's a good kid. He's just got another stripe on his belt, so good for him.
Nice one.
He's a good kid. I've seen him. He's a good kid.
All right. Before we jump into any questions, is there anything else we missed? I know we quickly breezed over the white paper. I showed the website where you can actually go and buy the NFTs. For those who missed that, let me see if I can pop it up real quick. There we go. Okay, this is the website. The link is both in the description and in the chat somewhere here. It's on nftraid.com. You've got NFT options between 0.1 BNB, which is roughly 31 bucks right now, all the way up to 20 BNB. So you choose whatever investment you like. It'll pay out 250% of whatever you put in. So overall, if you're looking for a limited risk investment that's tied to real world utility, it's a good thing to buy and sit on. My dad literally bought one. I was talking to him about this the other day. And he's like, okay, I'm going to transfer some BNB in there and get it done. Right. My dad's an old timer. And so, if he can do it, obviously he understands the value of it. And so anyway, you guys, if you want to get involved, you just go to the website, you click on whatever one you want to purchase. Sorry, guys, click buy now, and then it'll sit in your wallet. And then in the near future, we're going to have the staking dApp completely ready, so you can actually stake that and start earning your yield. And on the back end, we're going to be running a restaurant.
Awesome. Keith,
Brilliant.
Do you want to answer that question from Aaron?
Which one?
Okay, I see.
Any way to have a running total?
Okay, yeah, right. So there is going to be running totals. I can't do a running total of open wallets because obviously, if they open a wallet on Drip, there's an API that I can tap into that will show that, but that will show every open wallet, so I can't do that. Tips: if the restaurant worker is happy to have their wallet set up as a read-only wallet on the website, so you can see the tips going in. Yes, that's possible. Airdrop total, yeah, that's easy. Just think, obviously, I don't know if Aaron's in Drip, but you've got like drip.community, stuff like that do read and show that's all API data that's really easy to get a hold of that can show, so we can show our wallet and it will show everything that's happened. NFTs available, yes. Once the web app's finished, you're going to be able to stake the NFTs directly off the web app through NFT Raid still, but you won't have to go onto NFT Raid. You can just do it directly off our web app. And then because it'll then be directly off the web app, there will be a counter that shows how many are left in the Unmade Sugar DeFi wallet, which will be obviously the amount that are left available to buy.
Awesome. And we can see the open wallets because they're going to be using the Foodtopian business team wallet, can't we? So technically,
well, yeah, as long as it's in there, I can use it. Yeah, I can capture. Yeah, anything. I can anything like read only stuff like that can be captured.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
we'll get most of them, at least everything through there. That'll help feed those giveaways and everything. Let's see what else we got.
Where exactly would we be able to stake the NFT? On the staking app that's being developed right now.
It's being developed right now. So as of hopefully what are we now? Wednesday. Hopefully, let's say by Monday. I'm a few days behind now on what I plan to be. The web app will be up, which is kind of like a website, but you can connect your wallet to the website, basically. Just like I don't know if they're in the animal farm is a website that you can connect, and you've got all your stakes on there, but you've also got the animal farm information on there as well. So it's all in one place. And you'll be able to see your NFTs to start with that you've got, and then the staking DApp will come next. And then once that's up, and then there's obviously the takeaways are running, and there's profit coming in, and the lottery will start up. So it's going to, instead of it being like, here's a finished app with everything on it, go, it's going to slowly just like roll out bit by bit on the web app. You know, as it's created, it'll be put up just so it's constantly updating and you can see what's going on.
Yeah, I think that'll be super helpful just for transparency. Here's a question that needs to get answered. How did you come up with the name Unmade Sugar?
Jesus. Right, okay. I've even got it. I don't even see I've got it tattooed on my forearm. I don't know if you can see it. Right, okay. So
have I got it yet?
You haven't. Should we get it tattooed on you next week? We'll have a beer next week and I'll get it tattooed on your arm. Right. So when I was in college, you have to set up a college account. I'm terrible at thinking of names. And you type in, so I typed in Keith 1234, Keith, and it ended up getting that pissed off for me that it suggested the name Unmade Sugar, right? That's all it was. Nice. So it suggested the name Unmade Sugar in college. So I took it. I then created an Unmade Sugar email address like you do. Then when I started my photography business, because I already had the Unmade Sugar email address and I was too lazy to create a new one, even though it's real simple, but I just really couldn't be bothered. I literally used it to create Unmade Sugar Photography, which then became a registered business. So then I actually registered the name Unmade Sugar. I actually physically own the name Unmade Sugar. If anybody uses the name Unmade Sugar, I can actually sue them. So
that's how brands are born.
So this on my arm, you can't really see because of my watch, and there's my bloody arm from falling off a roof, right? That is my actual copyright logo on my photography, and I've got it tattooed on my arm. So if you've got a photo that I've done for you, it's the exact same. I've got the copyright logo tattooed on my arm. So there you go. So that's how it came about, because I couldn't think of a name for my college account. And that's literally as simple as
now you're a developer for a crypto project.
I know I'm a developer. And you know what? I studied psychology and human biology in college. I was going to be some crazy mind professor that read people's minds and shit. And what am I doing now? I'm now making NFTs of fries and burgers.
Yeah. This is all right. Top tier.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
Absolutely brilliant.
That's awesome. That's a good story. I've always actually wondered that too. So I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that.
I'm just too lazy to change it. It says Unmade Sugar Photography, Unmade Sugar DeFi. And you know what? That could be Unmade Sugar Food if I carry on with it in a bit. I just change the last name all the time.
How amazing is it that it's turned into a brand? It's what we know you as.
Yeah, like it is. Everyone knows, like this, like in the photography world. Telegram. Yeah, I'm known under Unmade Sugar in the photography world as well.
There you go.
It's just how it is.
Love it.
They're the universal lines, mate.
I know.
Let's see. Couple I do photographies. Yeah, you do killer photography too. I'm not seeing too much else here in the way of questions. You guys see anything, or is there anything you want to close it out with?
Well, there's a few I've read and that we've pretty much answered as we've gone through with the answers and stuff. All I wanted to say to close was, I don't work with anyone. Anything that I want to put my own money into, or my time and my effort and my resources, I have to be selective from past mistakes in business, which I've learned from. And, you know, in the last 20 years, I've been nothing but a success. And I wanted to say that these people, you know, I've shared these people know where I live. They know my wife, my kids' names. They've seen my kids on camera, my wife on camera. It takes a lot for me to open up because I'm quite secure and protective over these things. And, you know, to have these people work with me, alongside me, support me, answer the phone to me, answer my emails. You know, when I put this concept out there, these people would have said, Lee, I'm sorry, mate, but it's just not for me. I know I'm your pal and that, but it's not for me. But we've all come together and looked at it. Nothing has gone out into the public view without being ratified, scrutinized, looked at, double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked. And, you know, that's very valuable to me because sometimes I can be a little bit overzealous. I'm excitable. So, you know, if they say, oh, I don't know, man, just give me a couple of weeks. It wasn't like that. We discussed it. So I wanted to say a massive thank you to the boys, because they have helped me, calmed me down, stopped me from getting too overzealous, which I've tried to rein in. They've put their input in, slowed it down, sped it up, told me where to focus, and I've probably operationally said we need to do this and that. But yeah, long story short, I wanted to say a massive shout out to Scott for hosting us. Unmade Sugar is always on the end of the line for both of us. Because what you see on this picture, like, it really is like we're always pinging different messages and making sure that we've got it right. But yeah, big shout out, and I thank you very much. And it's going to be the start of a very, very bullish, emotional journey. And I can't wait to get started. And I thank everyone that's put even a dime in. So shout out to everyone that's going to put in, has put in, will definitely put in. I can't thank you enough. So thank you very, very much.
Agreed. I think we got a great team here. Everyone can play their role. We get along easy. There's no egos here, and we rein each other in. So I think this will be a successful venture. Really easy to make some decent money if you're interested in Best and helping us with the seed round. There's potential for more of a profit sharing aspect going forward, you know, as we're more successful. So I think it's just helpful. So yeah, I want to also thank everyone who's supported us or put in, you know, any money, even 0.1 B&B makes a difference, helps us get the restaurant business off the ground, helps us spread the word for Drip. Obviously, the more people that get into the investments that we like, the more successful they'll be. So just in general, I think it's a good concept. I think it's going to be fun. I know it's something Lee wanted to do for a long time. So I'm glad we can assemble the team and make it happen. And thank you to Video Synopsis for that super chat.
So yeah, I'll just jump in quick now. So yeah, so like Lee said, concepts like this, that there's like my NFT status on NFT Radar is I'm literally a verified creator on there now. So anything I put up, they'll verify. So I'm very selective. I've had multiple messages on Telegram from little projects saying, can you run it? Can you upload it for us? Purely so they can get the verification. And I don't say yes to everyone. These two right here, I watched before I was getting into Drip. So it's nuts now that I'm now working with a pair of them. But like literally, but no, it's anything, you know, there is, because it's like, if you have an idea, you put it in the group between the three of us and it's thrown out there. If it's a stupid idea, one of them will just say, no, that ain't going to work. You know, and if it's an idea that'll work but needs a little bit of tweaking, then like Scott, for example, I did the white paper and Scott was like, send it me over. And then the marketing genius that he is added quite literally a few words and made it look like a lot better than I'd wrote it. But just by you know, it just works. The three of us, it just works really well together. And I can't see this not working, to be honest. You know, it's going to work. I like Lee said, I'm only just over an hour away. So I'll be popping down and checking in and making videos while I'm down there and checking up again. And then we got to get Scott over here now.
Yeah, we might have to do that as a piece of content. You know, those I don't know, what are they? They're stupid little things you would do when you were a kid or whatever, when they were doing like a donation or fundraiser or whatever. They'd have like the temperature thing, and then they'd color in the lines. So
let's get Scott to the UK.
So we might have to do that, because obviously if I get out there, we can film some funny content and do a lot of stuff. So anyway, that'll be part of it. But that obviously won't impact the investors in the end, but it will be fun content for us to make. So if the restaurants do well, of course, it would make sense to get out there a couple times a year to make sure that I'm inputting stuff, seeing stuff in person as far as marketing and everything goes. Gives you a lot of different ideas. So it will really be a business trip, but in addition to that, we can have a little bit of fun, get on camera. So I think we'll figure out some way to monitor our progress on my fun to get out there, and we'll make it happen. But I don't know. For me, it's a cool idea, and so that's that's what we're working with. And then this came up a couple times. We have a Telegram.
Yeah, there is one.
I think I posted it.
I think you posted it. If you look back,
it is. I think it's just t.me/Foodtopian.
It is. It's pretty straightforward.
Where is it? Here it is. Yeah. So that's the Telegram, and we're going to be more active in there. Obviously, we're still in the beginning stages, getting this thing all started. This is a seed round, so anybody who invests, they're early investors, and then the staking DApp will be ready soon. But we've got some pretty good traction so far. I mean, we've been selling some good ones. I've bought them personally just to make sure that it works, and then like I said, my dad picked up a 5 B&B one. So there's a good handful so far that we've already sold. Just when we announced it initially, a bunch of people got in and bought the 0.1 B&B one just to show some support. So we are getting some traction already, but we're going to use that, of course, to get this restaurant launched. And we're in the final stages of negotiation there. So hopefully we can use our leverage to snag this one and then get this thing started, start making content from inside the space.
Yeah, and I think just to finish off, because I'm very conscious you got to take your boy to jiu-jitsu. Once people start seeing us actually in the location, I know, Scott, that's going to take you a little bit of time to deal with that, but as soon as people see the real actual thing that we're dealing with, and I have shared some pictures in the Telegram, actually. If you want to go into Telegram, there's some pictures of the actual location one in there in the Foodtopian group. So head in there, just click on the top in the group and look at media. You'll see the pictures. They're just pictures, stock pictures from when the estate agent put it on. But I've also got a couple of videos of me and the wife. We have a massive argument in there. So I've got to edit some of the sound out because we're like, we want it now, today. We've got to have it today. So we've moved on a lot since then with the price, which is perfect because we're negotiating really well on that one. So that's going to be bullish. And also, just notwithstanding the fact we ain't going to stop at the UK. It's not a UK-based business. The business will be registered in the UK, obviously, for the initial locations. But as we get bigger and grow, don't be shocked if you see a Foodtopian takeout in your state in the US, because that is on the roadmap for year 2 and 3. But it could be earlier.
We're gonna do this until I can get over there. We're gonna
put
a life size
just in the corner. And then we need to have the little thermometer going up it a bit, like when it gets to your head, you come over.
They do it on The Office when they have the paper selling competition, The Office US. It's definitely on there.
We're doing it.
But yeah, so long story short, we're not stopping at the UK, but we've got to deal with the UK first because that's where the operations are. So yeah, let's see what happens, man. It's gonna be good.
Yep, it's great. And yep, the garden is on the move. We've been pumping it over on the Drip Marketing DAO side. That's the new avenue to onboard people. So we've got a pretty good plan there.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that. I put a referral in this weekend. And
that's awesome. We're getting a lot of traction. I don't know how many referrals we have, but it's probably like 150. And it's going really well. So we're building that up. We're running some test campaigns right now and onboarding some users and all that type of stuff. So we're going to go full scale here soon. I think by the end of the week, I've got another meeting tonight to cover next steps to make sure that we're good by like Friday or maybe next Monday at the latest. But we'll go full scale with that. So expect more traction there, which even, is going to help with everything else we're doing on the restaurant side. Obviously people are like, yeah, why is this guy talking about drip? They'll get in and look at the chart. The chart's going up. That'll get people more excited to get in. Think it's a good opportunity. So it's all going to come full circle. Obviously, a lot of us are invested in this type of stuff. So the more traction we get on it, the more utility we have, the more people we have getting onboarded, the better the chart's going to look. And people want to get in to charts that are going up, and they don't want to get into charts that are going down, regardless of how valuable the asset is. So a good chart's the best marketing. If we can pump this stuff, it's going to work well in all these little side ventures that we're doing. So excited about that. And thanks for noticing the traction on the garden. It's starting to go really well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's brilliant. The DMD's definitely pumping, and that's only a good thing. You can even notice it in your own gardens. If you have a look, now the garden never dies. You can always bring it back. So if you feel like you've lost your garden, or you want to start a new garden, you can always use the drip marketing do
definitely
as your new wallet. Yeah, I think I've got three now, three wallets under the garden. Probably only 100 million plants, something like that, but it's a start, isn't it? We've got to send the message out there, because that is, I love it. I think it's I'm really bullish on the drip marketing.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's going well. All this stuff's going well. It's another example of the community kind of coming together. I mean, I don't know any of these guys before drip, and somehow we've all roped everything together and used our different areas of expertise. So strong community. It's pretty fun to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Right. Set the boy, dude.
Yeah.
We'll be here till tomorrow.
Let's wrap it up, my friends. So check out the links in the description if you'd like to go purchase an NFT. It helps us get the restaurant started. We're close to locking in that deal, and then we can start making content from the location and all that. So join the Telegram if you'd like. Feel free to jump into any of our Telegrams and ask questions if you've got them. We're happy to help. It's all one big happy family. So anyway, guys, I thank you both for joining today.
Thanks a lot, Scott.
Helping me work our way through it. And anything you want to say, close it out? Just
thank you. I appreciate you all, and we'll catch up in Telegram. Thank you very much. Thanks for hosting us, Scott.
Sounds good. Take care, guys. We'll see you.